Almost a century ago, in 1889, archaeologists from the University of Pennsylvania set out on an expedition to Mesopotamia in the Near East. They were interested in learning more about biblical history. What they recovered were 30,000 clay tablets inscribed in an ancient language called Sumerian. This turned out to be man's first written language. This amazing discovery marked the beginning of the University Museum. The museum's mission was to study the development of mankind through archaeology and anthropology. From the start, museum scientists conducted their own field research whenever possible. They were systematic in acquiring new objects, and they kept careful records of what they found. This meant that as new technologies came along, they could go back and learn more about artifacts collected years earlier. The museum also set out to play a public role. Through exhibits and seminars, newspaper articles, and guided tours, it reached out to the community, connecting people with their past.
Welcome to the University Museum. Let me tell you a little bit about what you're going to see today. Our collections cover every inhabited continent on the globe, and many of the things that you'll be seeing date to the Old Stone Age, while many others are relatively modern and are still being used by traditional societies today. Well,
between that first expedition and today, scholars from the University Museum have helped collect over 1 million objects that are housed in this building. But the museum is more than just objects. It's what lies behind them. It's the story of the people who made and used them. It's the world of ideas and the knowledge that's held within them.
From Piedras Negras in Guatemala, and it is made of limestone and dates to 758 BC.
Since 1956, museum archaeologists have been digging at Tikal, the site of a large Maya settlement in Guatemala. Stone stela, like this one from another site, are similar to ones found at Tikal. They offer clues to the history of this highly developed society. But mystery still surrounds some of the reasons why the Maya civilization declined. For visitors of all ages, this mystery of vanished cultures raises questions about their own destiny. And for some of them, it may provide answers for the future.
Very useful in deciphering certain sets of Maya glyphs. These come from West Africa, Nigeria, mainly from the state of Lagos, and there's a modern society depicted on.
Although they're part of a living civilization, little was known about the people who made these African dance masks. This is because many cultural traditions were simply never written down. Now archaeological and anthropological studies are filling in the gaps, and the University Museum is using its collection to preserve a treasured heritage. Since 1890, the University Museum has been among the world's leading institutions involved in studying ancient Egypt. In the mummy exhibit, archival resources helped recreate these tombs as they were found. This concern for placing artifacts in their authentic cultural context is behind every new exhibit that's developed. Researchers take exacting measures to design displays that are both appealing and accurate. Like any exhibit, the installation of the Mesopotamian gallery started with researchers going back to archival materials. These burial plans are from the 1926 excavation of the royal tombs at Ur. They show the exact locations where every object and fragment was found. Some of these materials have been held in storage since the excavation. For this exhibit, they were sorted out and re-examined. This is no easy job, since up to 9/10 of the collection is maintained in the storage area. Although some pieces aren't visually spectacular, they continue to contribute new information about the past. Often, these are the only original materials left for researchers to study. One of the most famous pieces in this collection is the ram in the thicket. New X-rays showed that it was deteriorating. Conservation work was performed to preserve it, and plans for a full restoration were made. Also for this exhibit, designers re-examined materials from the gravesite of Queen Puabi. Using the excavator's original notes, they reconstructed her headdress more accurately from pieces that had previously been assembled differently. From start to finish, the reinstallation of the Mesopotamian gallery required over a year's work.
They also wrote on stone. And here we have a royal inscription written on dollarit, very hard stone. And I can read it for you. Ur dinger nammo, lugalurima, lugal kenge kiuri, lu edinger endilla indu. Ur nammo, the king of Ur, the king of Sumer and Akkad, the one who built the house, the temple of the god Enlil.
Starting with that first expedition in 1889, the University Museum acquired one of the world's major collections of Sumerian cuneiform tablets. But translating this ancient writing proved to be difficult. Since 1976, 4 full-time staff members and many graduate students have been working on a dictionary of the Sumerian language. This will be a milestone in understanding the legacy of an ancient civilization. From clay tablets to pages typeset by computer, each volume takes a year to compile. When finished, the dictionary will be an 18-volume encyclopedia of the earliest written language ever known. But this is just one of the museum's academic projects. Laboratory research is also conducted in the museum's Applied Science Center. Usually, several studies are in progress at one time. For example, in one lab, metallurgists take thin samples of ancient metal objects and find out how they were manufactured and how they were used. Meanwhile, some researchers are analyzing human skeletons for information about ancient nutrition. Others are concentrating on animal bones. These are examined to learn more about food, medicine, and disease in antiquity. Once a study is completed, researchers compile their findings for publication. When archaeologists used a magnetometer to locate metal artifacts concealed in burial caves in Jordan, the news attracted worldwide interest. With museum researchers working in over a dozen countries, volumes of data are published each year.
We're talking about objects, right? And we're going to put objects and descriptions of those objects in the computer. Now, what will be a case in our file? First question we have to answer, is it each object that comes out of the ground? Or is it bags of objects? Is it everything that comes out of one trench? You know?
Getting the right information to the right people is handled through a network of educational activities.
Accurate counts on what you have. The individual object is what you'd put in as a case.
In addition to
right?
sponsoring seminars and offering courses for museum staff and university students, the museum gears many of its programs for public school children. It also offers some general interest activities.
I want to thank Ellen and the University Museum for inviting me to play tonight. The theme of the program is Latin American music.
fall of 1986, the University Museum starts celebrating its 100th birthday. To mark the occasion, plans are underway for a year-long festival of special events. Even the building is being renovated for the record number of visitors expected to attend. But beyond the celebration lie the challenges of the next century. People visiting the University Museum in the years after 2000 will be much more demanding. They'll come to the museum expecting to learn the latest scientific findings and what the implications are for humanity. Another challenge will come from the scientific community. Over the next few decades, technology will transform the way that research is conducted. Breakthroughs will be made, and some age-old mysteries will be solved. At the same time, some accepted theories will be proven wrong. New questions will be raised, and many artifacts will have to be re-evaluated. Advanced technology and a more demanding public will challenge the museum to keep up with these changes. But it's also likely that some great new discoveries will be made. In its first 100 years, the University Museum accomplished what its founders set out to do. It's an institution dedicated to public education and to academic achievement. It's been part of the tremendous strides taken in discovering the history of mankind and of civilization. But the most exciting chapters in the museum's history have yet to be written. How they develop will be determined by the support of the museum's friends in the months and the years ahead.